specificity of training and repetition. So if you're talking about high stress, low frequency events like we're talking about, and you're expecting your people to perform under that pressure when the moment comes, if you're not training specificity and giving them the opportunity to get as close to the real environment as possible, and you're not putting reps on the board, quality reps, through deliberate practice, you're failing those people directly. Now, too many units spend too much time focusing on getting to the device. And these are the vignettes we use, and I'm going to ask you to share that story in a second about getting down the fast rope, because it's the best example of this. The infill skills that you need to get onto target, right? There's a, what do we call it, a compliance thing there, right? Obviously a health and safety piece, so you've got to be fast rope qualified. Some people have to be para, maybe you're dive infill qualified. It depends on what troop or what squadron you're a part of. But ultimately, there's a lot of time spent on those things, and for good reason. As EOD operators, that should be dealt with, and we should have enough of those skills, but we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that we need to train for those high-stress, low-exposure events, and that's time in lanes, whatever it might be, in scenarios, in very dynamic environments, making the decisions that you're going to be making. And that's the reality that we try and push up the chain to say, if you're not doing that, you're failing your people.
Probably time for the fast rope story, I guess.
The French paras.
Okay. Is this going to be a shaming, or is it a well done?
No, it was it was a look at that idiot kind of gig. But no, I absolutely just reiterate what Dill's talking about. And rightly so. And we concentrate on blue light driving. We concentrate on underwater escape training, dive training. All of those things really, really important. But that comes with a detriment to actually EOD training, and that kind of falls off, and people think that if they get them to the bomb, then that's okay, and that's not the point. I had very, very quick vignette, but I learned a lesson from it. We were fast roping onto a vessel, middle of the night, out at sea somewhere, fast roping onto a vessel, and there were already some commandos that had got onto the vessel, so they were sort of lining the top of this vessel. Anyway, turned up, fast rope went out, full team in front of me went down, and obviously if you're the last guy down, good idea to hold on to the rope, because otherwise the downdraft from the helo just sends it, and if there's anyone, can really hurt. So I'm holding on to this rope.
It's not going to end well, is it?
I let go of the rope as it starts to lift off, not really thinking about it, and then obviously there's just the deck of this ship that is wet, and downdraft whips my legs out and fires me. I must have been about 15 metres into a fencing, and I just heard this like uproar of the commandos all around. Les Anglais, way. And then I turned around and realised that the entire team had disappeared off into the bells of the ship somewhere. I had no idea where I was going.
So you've done him no favours.
I know.
He set me up.
He just dropped him on it on the camera.
But this is the complexity.
This is the complexity.
So actually that could absolutely happen. The team go down. Yeah. Because, and rightly so, the team that you're there to support, and you are there as a toolbox to support those operators to allow them to achieve their mission here. So I'm not, I don't want to big up my status here. If I'm not used and no one sees me over the whole operation, and that's a Brucey bonus for everyone, that's how we want it. Unfortunately, these things happen. Last in the stick, you hold the rope, you get taken out basically. By the time you turn around, ship's dark, everyone's on nods, going through the bowels of the ship, Yeah, I mean, I found him eventually, but it wasn't a fun time, it wasn't, and so it's teaching people about having agility and having agility across all of the facets that we're talking about. This is cognitive agility, this is physical agility, this is emotional agility, which is one of the key things. You turn around, black. Something's going on. What do? You have to be able to have that bandwidth and that sort of capability. Say, okay, right, this is a pretty crap situation. However, I have the skill set, I have the exposure, I have the understanding to deal with this or get myself out of there. And that's